What is up, YouTube? As you can see, my screen is showing a 6v6 match. No, this is not a mistake. This is an actual, real Wi-Fi battle in the 3v3. 6v6, as you can see, this was an NU match versus Andy, or better known on YouTube as the NeverUsedTier. I'll put an annotation. Check him out. He does love the NU tier, of course, judging by his username. But anyways, let's just jump right into the battle here. So I lead off with Miltank, and he leads off with his Gardevoir. Now, first turn, he wants to paralyze me with Thunder Wave, and I outspeed him going for the Body Slam. So the reason I didn't put up my Stealth Rocks first turn was because I thought I could do a lot more damage to this Gardevoir, mainly for the fact that they really don't have the best physical bulk, and for an uninvested Body Slam, that is doing a pretty decent chunk of damage. So anyways, he's gonna keep getting his leftovers. I don't get paralyzed, so he's really not gaining anything from staying in at this point. So he's gonna switch into his Armaldo, most likely just to set up rocks, and I get paralyzed. So getting paralyzed doesn't really matter too much, but right here I just switch out into Tangela, which is amazing in NU because it can take so many physical hits. It's just obnoxious. So he does set up the rocks like I thought he would, and he switches out now and goes into his Electros. So I don't really mind. Hoping this thing is physical, which you'll see in the next turn that it is not. I do get the Toxic off, but because I'm thinking he is special, I go into Miltank. Now, by the way, if you're wondering about the nickname, yes, it is because I am. Fan of Hayden, pretty cool guy, but regardless, getting sidetracked. Anyways, as you can see by the move Acid Spray, he is clearly a special one. So this is a special wall, so I think I can take his hits pretty nicely. And because of the fact that he is Toxic, I know that I can slowly wear him down over time. And as you see there, Toxic is starting to do a decent amount of damage now. And because of the fact I am paralyzed, I am not going to be able to outspeed, and that is going to do a lot of damage. But I am able to stall him a little bit by Milk Drinking off a majority of the damage. And once again, he's going to get his leftovers, I'm going to get my leftovers, and his health is slowly getting drained away by Toxic. So it's looking pretty decent for me. I sadly don't have rocks up just yet. But he decides to switch out now. The damage is really starting to rack up. But I switch out also. He goes into his Monferno, and I go into my Tangela. Now, that was a terrible double switch for me. So, I really didn't know what to expect. So I kind of just wanted to protect if he was going to go straight away for like a Flare Blitz, Fire Blast, Flamethrower, some kind of fire move. But that turns out to be an awful plan. And he goes for the nasty plot, and he doesn't, Monferno doesn't have the most amazing stats, but if it can set up, it really can be a pain. So I go into my Scarfed Magmortar, and that Thunderbolt does not kill, and he goes for the likely Blaze boosted +2 Flamethrower, and I live that, after the resistance, but it doesn't matter, because it will take me out with the Vacuum Wave. Now, I could have gone for the Focus Blast, but it may or may not have killed. I don't even know. He may or may not have had a Sash, so I don't know if it mattered too much in the long run. So, I just go straight in here to Kangaskhan to kind of ruin his day. And, I do have the priority Fake Out and the Sucker Punch. The combo would have easily taken him out. But regardless, he just goes into his Armaldo to tank the hit, and that Fake Out does next to nothing after getting hit with it. So right now, I'm just going to go for the Drain Punch, kind of to just see how much it does. And even with a Life Orb Drain Punch, I am Jolly, so it's not going to do as much as Adamant. But even then, with a Life Orb Drain Punch, that's really doing nothing, and he's just going to hit me with a few Rock Blasts here. And seeing how much that does and how much damage I'm doing compared to that is, not a good matchup at all. So I'm going to have to switch again. And, some of the Rock's damage is kind of starting to add up for him, which is good for him, bad for me. So he keeps going for the Rock Blast. But, like I said, with Tangela, that's not going to do anything at all. As you could see, 2 did maybe 40, 50 HP, really did nothing. So, seeing that, he's going to switch out, and he's going to go into his Mischievous, and, you know, he doesn't have anything on his team that can avoid the Leech Seed, so that's good for me. So I am able to get it off on anything at all, whether or not he wants to switch. So I get it off on his Mischievous when he switches, and then I Protect. Now that was also not the best of a move, because now he uses Heal Bell, and he cures his Electros of poison, which kind of annoyed me because Electros can be very annoying without status on it. So anyways, he's going to switch out, and he's going to go right in here. I don't know if he predicted the Toxic, but Toxic avoids Toxic with immunity. So I don't really know if he predicted the Toxic or what. But anyways, it works out for him in his favor. And I just go straight for the Sleep Powder now, because, you know, something asleep is always good. And it just so happens the thing that just lost its status comes in and takes that, which is Electros, which is just great for me. So I'm going to go for the Leech Seed, sadly miss. And he's still sleeping, so that's okay. So he does get his leftovers recovery once again. And I go for the second Leech Seed. Thank God I hit now. Would have helped a lot more if I hit the first time. Doesn't matter too much in the long run, but it was just kind of annoying. It felt like a wasted turn. So he does take that Leech Seed damage, and I'm back up to full. So now I'm safe to switch, because I'm hoping he doesn't wake up and go for another Acid Spray or whatever. And I go into my Miltank to take whatever, but he is still sleeping, lucky for me. So he's going to get his lefties once again. But now that I have Miltank out here, like I said, it is a special wall, so it can take the hits. But now that I have Miltank out here with Milk Drink, leftovers, and he has the Leech Seed on him, he really can't be doing too much damage to me. And he just goes straight for the Thunderbolt. I'm not really sure why I didn't go for the Acid Spray first. But, you know, I don't know really why. Doesn't matter, because I'm just going to get my rocks up anyways. And he's going to get his leftovers, no problem, because, you know, Leech Seed's going to cancel that out, give me plenty of HP back. And yeah, so, like I said, I get the leftovers, I get the Leech Seed, and, you know, I'm really going to benefit from all this. And he notices that, and he switches out, and he goes right back into his Armaldo, and this thing kind of was a big pain to me. And, you know, right here, I go for the Milk Drink, so now Miltank also is in pretty good shape. But, sadly, I don't really go into my spin blocker here, and he is tempted to go for the Rapid Spin. I don't blame him, because, you know, it's a pretty easy play to make, but I don't go into my Haunter to dodge the Rapid Spin. I go into this. I'm not really sure why, but I do think it was a better play than going into Haunter, mainly for the fact that if I did end up going into him, one, he would have missed the Rapid Spin, but he could have hit me with, you know, Rock Blast. So even if I did set up a substitute, he could have broken through that and most likely either KO'd me or gotten a decent amount of damage. But anyways, he switches into his Electros once again, and he is asleep once again. So this thing is really becoming a big pain, and I just want this thing gone, because it's just a huge pain. So we're seeing this exact kind of play once again, where it's asleep, and I'm Leech Seeding it, and yeah, because, you know, I want to start wearing this thing down, and I keep trying to, but he keeps switching out, and, you know, I don't want to go too offensive, because I don't want anything to come in here and take any hit from this. So I'm going to keep going into Miltank to tank whatever hit he goes for. But right here, he goes for the Acid Spray, and he hits Miltank. Now, we've seen this once again, where he gets his lefties, but he's Leech Seeded, so it doesn't matter. And I get my lefties. So, you know, we're just kind of seeing the same plays, but it will get shaken up pretty quickly. So, once again, I get the Leech Seed, really restoring a lot of health, and he switches out once again, and he goes into Armaldo once again. So, I'm not really gaining any ground here, and just because I really don't want to be paralyzed anymore, so I get that off with the Heal Bell, because, you know, being slow isn't always that great. So, he goes into his Armaldo, and like I said, this thing is very annoying along with the Electros, and he switches out, and he ends up going into his Monferno once again, which is okay because I'm finally taking something out, getting a body slam off, taking down his Monferno, which kind of ended the massive stalemate in the battle. So now he's going to go into his Gardevoir, trace the Thick Fat, and like I said, now that I can outspeed this thing, because I'm not paralyzed, I can hit him, and he tries going for the substitute. I don't know why he didn't just attack me. I'm pretty sure it was kind of obvious, I guess, that I was going to attack because I already was anyways. So luckily, Miltank does get the first 2 KOs, which is great, and I take down the Gardevoir. So now he is going to go into his Electros again, and I'm just going to body slam because I want this thing paralyzed, and it's just annoying me. But I don't get it, and he goes for the substitute, bringing him pretty low, but because he has lefties, it'll wear off the damage. And I just keep wanting to body slam. I know this thing can't do too much to me, but all I've seen is substitute, Thunderbolt, and Acid Spray. His last move is likely Hidden Power Ice, but going for that would not be that smart of a move, Thick Fat and all. But he goes for the T-Bolt, and he paralyzes me, so that's just incredibly annoying. So now I get my leftovers, and at this point, Miltank really can't do too much anymore. Electros is at a pretty low amount of health, pretty revengeable at this point. So he's going to get his lefties once again, annoying me once again. And yeah, so now I'm able to go into this, and I want to get a fake out on this, and he does stay in. He doesn't go and do his Armaldo, and he just takes the hit and takes him down even lower, and he gets his lefties once again. So this thing is just annoying me so much. So I just go for the Drain Punch, luckily take it out, do get a decent amount of HP back, almost back where I started, and yeah, so I'm taking a little bit of Life Orb damage, and he goes into Armaldo once again. So go for the Drain Punch, really want to do a lot of damage, hopefully get a crit, but I do not. Get a decent chunk back, but of course Life Orb cancels it out. And he goes for the Rock Blast, and this is pretty much going to take out the Kangaskhan. So yeah, so down goes Kangaskhan, gets his lefties, and yeah, so now I have to go into Samurott, mainly because I know this thing can do a lot of damage to his team at this point. Very, very good late game sweeper in the NU tier. So I go for the Swords Dance, get up to +2. He goes for the Rock Blast, hits, and I believe it gets 3 hits off. Yeah, it does. So he gets 3 hits off, gets his lefties. Once again, I'm holding the Lumberry, so it doesn't matter if he statuses me, and I go for the Waterfall. So now that I go for the Waterfall, a +2 stab Waterfall, I believe super effective, yes it is, will easily take out that Armaldo, finally. And right here, he just goes into his Zangoose. Now right here, he just goes for the Retaliate, and I really, really should have gone for the Aqua Jet. I don't know why I didn't. Kind of a bad move on my part. But at this point, I can just safely go into Haunter, and I can notice, I'm thinking he's Choice Scarfed, because I don't see Life Orb. He could be Banded, I don't know. But I am safe to just set up a substitute with Haunter here. And I get my leftovers, so that's good. And now at this point, it's pretty good for Haunter to just do whatever he wants. And I go for the Shadow Ball right on this Mischievous. And it does a very fair chunk, and he goes for a Shadow Ball of his own, which will break my sub. But at this point, I really could care less, because I'm going to get my leftovers anyways. And I can outspeed it easily and take it out with the Shadow Ball. So that's great for me too. So I believe at this point all he has left is his Zangoose, and the fact that that's all he has left, which is a physical threat, and I have my Tangela, it can't do a thing. So right here I do see that he is Choice Scarfed, goes for the Night Slash, and easily takes out the Haunter. So that does a lot of damage, and I just go into my Tangela. And at this point, he pretty much knows that he can't really do anything. But he goes for a Night Slash, hoping for a crit, trying to get something to happen. I just go for the Leech Seed, and I'm going to drain some health off of him. Right there. He loses some, and I get some. Pretty simple. But right there, he just decides to give up. That was a very good match, though, NU tier. Very, very nice. Thank you for the match. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.